This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz. Very excited to be speaking with Melissa Leo about The Knife. How are you, Melissa?
I'm very well, Abe. Nice to be talking with you.
It's refreshing to see you smiling and not theoretically having malicious intentions because I feel like this is such a
Whoa,
dark and
whoa, whoa,
mean-spirited
whoa, whoa.
role.
Malicious intentions um, is a woman doing her job. But yes, no, I did think I'd show up a little less like Detective Carlson and a little more like Melissa Leo, just for you, Abe.
Thank you. Well, I guess that my first question is, what's your read on her? Do you think that she does have malicious intentions or she is just doing her job, or there's obviously a gray area in between?
Well, I absolutely know what I think. I am intrigued by what you think. Um, and that's actually what feels the most important about this film is what does the audience feel, all the various different audiences that the film has had around the world in film festivals, and now as it opens up on August 15th. What do you think is going on there? Because there's a lot of things that happen off camera, and there are things that do happen on camera. um, so that's my answer to your question.
I think because of the fact that we're introduced to other characters first and we see things from their perspective and we have some sympathy for them, when your character shows up, it's not the police has come to help us. There's been a break-in. It's the police has come and we're in trouble. And I think that plays to the way in which different populations perceive law enforcement differently.
Mm.
And this is certainly not a helpful instance of, well, maybe law enforcement's not so bad. Maybe they are there to help because maybe it's to get justice, whatever that means. But I think that that's something that this film really plays with. What is justice really mean?
Mhm. I think the first thing you've got to remember is that Detective Carlson, who does investigate homicides, is brought in by a young uniform officer who feels that there is a murder here and they need murder police. And so in she comes. Now, I've played police a lot, and I totally respect that part of police work that, when you've been called, you've got to do your due diligence. Whether you're a nice person or a nasty person or a good person or a hateful person, the job is to do your due diligence because you're going to be called to question eventually, too. Um, but I think that what you're talking about is far more interesting than Detective Carlson's intentions, right? This is an unusual film because this is no black film, but it is a film that stars a black family, a beautiful black family, who is clearly, in most ways, trying their best in this kooky society we all live in. And I think that Namdi does this extraordinary thing of really giving the audience, any audience, black, white, whatever, a chance to see this tale a little bit more from the black family's point of view.
What is it like working with someone like Namdi opposite him and also being directed by him?
Well, first of all, he's so gorgeous that to be in the room with him is always a delight. Sorry, Carrie, but we all feel that way. And he's more than that. Namdi Asma is one of the best directors I have ever worked with, and I've worked with some great directors. His experience on as a football player, never the star of the team, but a beloved player, he knows there is no I in teamwork. And that is the way he worked shooting this film, regardless of him having written it for the most part, starring in it entirely, directing it. We were all there, in California few years ago, making a film together. And that's a really beautiful thing about how the film works so well as intended, by the filmmaker. He's an incredible filmmaker. We will know more and more of him. Yes, beautiful actor, but an amazing director.
Do you feel it was difficult to film some of the more intense scenes in this film because there is such an emotion behind it for mainly the other characters, I'd say, more so than yours.
I think Detective Carlson has her own difficulties, but I think that no, what's difficult in filmmaking is when you're working with people who, forgive me, don't really care about what they're doing. It's just a job, don't really know what they're doing, and somehow they got the job. To be for 3 weeks, it might have been on Namdi's set in the middle of the night. We only worked nights, the little kids too. Um, it was a joy and a pleasure because we were really working on making this film, a special kind of film that people haven't really seen before. Um, it's a thriller. It's a whodunit in so many ways, and there I am as the detective, and there is Namdi and Asia and those beautiful girls as the family.
Well, when I was thinking more about your character and about the different roles that you played, the one that I sort of gravitated to as a point of comparison was in Novitiate. That I think that is someone else who is so determined and dedicated to the cause she believes in that it can come off as cruelty what she's doing, but she really just is a true believer who wants what she believes is best. Do you see any sort of through line connecting those characters?
It's hard for me to make a comparison because Novitiate was sort of the opposite experience making it. I would have preferred to have a much gentler Reverend Mother than the one that exists in that film Novitiate. It's not who I think somebody would become after 40 years of isolation in a convent. She's not a school teacher nun. So enough about that one. But yeah, the comparison is only that I'm in the role. And it makes me realize as you ask the question, yes, Melissa is very determined to get the job right. That is something that is true in me and undoubtedly showed up in both of those characters.
Well, in terms of the knife, I had the chance to see the film at the Village East Cinema as part of Tribeca last year, about a year ago. I think it was one of my last films, and that's like, it's not the big theater; it's one of the small little theaters. It was nice and dark. It was a good experience. Do you feel like where people see the film and what kind of experience it is really changes? And how has that been for you, just in terms of where you've actually been?
The only real difference, and we played to thousands in Deauville, France. It's a huge theater there. They all got it, reading subtitles and everything. But my favorite remembrance is when we took the film to the Chicago Film Festival and the audience was almost entirely Black. And that was an interesting audience to sit amongst. The Black response is much different as white people sort of sit there, wonder what we should do. Should I laugh? Was that funny? Okay, I'll just watch the movie. And Black people go, oh my God, no, watch out. He's behind you. Oh no, oh no. It happens while the movie's going on. It's not rude. They're not talking during the movie. They are experiencing out loud the movie. That was a joyous audience to be a part of. And it felt like they all got it too and got to see something that is just not there. You're either watching this sort of Black content, which is feels to me like a white person's idea of Black content so often. And this is just a movie. It's just a thriller, an interesting, at the edge of your seat, gentle, no gore and guts thriller.
You find that in an audience like that, when people see you afterwards, that they know that you're just a talented actress, or they have a little bit of apprehension just in in
Yeah,
in coming towards you.
it's been again a super sweet experience. When we've done the screenings, that there are talkbacks afterwards, and the audience can feel my total adoration of my director, and it's pretty clear. Yes, at Tribeca we walk out and one woman says, "I hate you," and I'm like, "Oh." But at the same time, she then comes and gives me a great big hug because she knows she hates that character for clear reasons once you've seen the film, and on the other hand, adores this actor for having given this portrayal that my police friend did not like so much.
Can you say more about that?
Yeah, just that's as much as I can say because honestly, he didn't want to say much afterwards. And I can understand that too. But it is a different kind of movie, and I think we live in a day and age where we know nobody's perfect.
Yeah, that's true. Well, in terms of your fine acting work, I'm a big fan of films like Frozen River and The Fighter, etc. But I'm always curious, someone who's done such great stuff, what is a project that you really admire that you've done that nobody ever brings up randomly in an interview that you wish more people talked about?
Well, I hope that the knife gets seen by so many people because honestly, not just because we're talking about it today, but because it is one of the best things I've ever been in. Frozen River is the next thing that comes up in my mind, and you've mentioned that one. I don't know if you've ever seen a little tiny movie called Francine.
I think so.
Now that's worth a watch, Melissa Leo picture.
Okay.
There's also a little film I did with David Strathairn years and years ago that really didn't get any press or buzz or anything about it. It's a magical little film in which both David and I and Giancarlo Esposito and several other lovely actors play two characters, or maybe the same character in different times. Racing Daylight.
Okay. Fantastic. I don't know what I expected as an answer, but it's nice to get things I haven't heard of that I want to seek out. So
And
that's really great. What's coming up next for you after the knife?
well, I worked with Andre Ovredal, who several years ago made a film called Troll Hunter. And Andre has made another thriller called The Passenger, and I got to work with him this winter on that, and that was super fun. Really great, inventive, kooky Norwegian director. Delight.
Wonderful. And since this is awards buzz, I always like to ask whoever I'm talking to, what have you seen recently? What show, movie, etc., is really sticking with you? That's impressed you a lot.
Oh my gosh, I live in a bubble. I don't see much of anything. I just saw Audra McDonald do Gypsy. That's not on film, but
That's
boy, oh
okay.
boy, was that an event. Oh my gracious. Really just a remarkable afternoon in the theater watching that woman carry this cast. The two daughters are played at three different ages. So there's this six young Black actresses coming up behind Audra. The power of that on the stage and her interpretation of Mama Rose, just, to be so close with her characters on stage, eye to eye contact, really talking to each other and selling it to us in the top balcony. Amazing.
Wonderful. Well, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you. Really, really a delight. Unlike again, so watching this performance, which is impressive, but a little bit more searing and intense.
Oh, well, thank you for that, I guess.
Of course, it's definitely a compliment. Thank you so much, Melissa. Take care.
All right, you too, Abe. Be well.